Embrace. Heaven Letter number 4830. February 14, 2014. There are thoughts, and there are many aspects to thoughts. And, so, is the one world one thought with many aspects to it. When you come down to it, there are not really disagreements. There are different aspects, much as it is in the story of the blind men and the elephant. And so, two or more see differently. Two or more feel differently. Who is to say which is right, and why does it matter so much or at all? In many places of the world, life is a competition. Everyone wants to get an A. Everyone wants to be a champion. And everyone on earth, every single person, is a champion in his way. And there are also champion dissenters. Everyone is trying to unfurl the world and find his place in it. No one feels totally at home in the world. All wandered in, so to speak, and all are befuddled by what occurs and all the many interpretations of all that occurs. There are so many wonders in the world, why are arguments featured when life in the world is over soon enough? And yet wars have been fought. Wars between nations. Wars between families. Wars between friends. Wars between sellers and buyers. Everyone has his or her own vision, yet it is not true that never will the twain meet. And yet it does seem in the world that there are battles that have to be fought, and, yet, are there not other ways to win a war besides fighting? Right now there are businesses fighting to hold on to what they now hold on to and gain more. Are companies as well as nations trying to take over the world? Whatever side someone happens to be on, he holds on to it for dear life. And it's incomprehensible to both sides that another deigns to believe in the rightness of his point of view when it is opposed to his own. Yet, is this not also true with the small arguments? Which two people who live together like everything the same, dishes washed the same, dishes put away the same, values the same in everything. The very multiplicity of the world, one of its great joys, becomes a point of contention. There is much holding on to life as it is, much attachment to how things have been, and you want them to stay the same. Once upon a time, horses were the major form of transportation. And then there were cars. Once upon a time, trains and ships were the kings of public travel, and now there are jets. Once upon a time everything was written by hand. Once upon a time there were no typewriters. And then there were computers and internet. One cry is, stay the same. Another cry is, on with the new. And yet some in the world try to stem the tide. There is a motto, stick to your guns. And others say, be reasonable. There is anger and resistance. Anger is always a form of resistance. Agreement is too often thought of as capitulation, and compromise does not always bear a good name. The relative world heaps change upon change. In the world at large, many are onlookers without a sense of having a say. Yet, every day, everyone on earth has a say, for how you vote, the world is. How much of your life is peace, and how much of your life is war? How much of your life is fighting with yourself, pulling and pushing yourself in this direction or that? And, yet, my will be done, and my will is for peace and goodwill, the end of conflict and the arrival of embrace. Channeled by Gloria Wendroff. heavenletters.org